Hi there, my name is Diane Duell. I'd like to take a moment or two just to introduce myself to you and let you know a little bit about me. I was born in the Northwest Territories. I actually live there currently. I was raised on a farm in Alberta. I have five brothers and two sisters. They're all in the picture there somewhere. You can see them all if I duck out of the way. Needless to say, there was never a dull moment at home growing up. It was always interesting and there was always something happening. I left home shortly after I graduated from high school. I went up and I started working in the oil field, and I worked on a pump jack crew. And the guys really didn't want me out in the field, and neither did their wives. It was kind of a tough go, but I hung in there and stayed with it, ended up becoming the first female battery operator for that company. And I stayed in that work environment for about 3 years. Then I moved back to my home community with my partner, and we started doing carpenter work. Now, he hung around for a while until he got tired of that and thought there was something better out there. I continued to work doing odd jobs here and there. Eventually, I landed a job running a service station. Now, I really enjoyed running my own business. I loved the challenges of it. It was an amazing time. The only thing was the station didn't belong to me. It belonged to someone else. And they wanted to change the rules of play partway through the contract. Unfortunately, I didn't have a leg to stand on because they just used a clause in the contract to terminate the contract. From there, I went to work for a construction outfit. Now, this was interesting work. I got to work a lot with different pieces of equipment, but I particularly liked driving the D6 Cat. However, this too was not meant to last. I tended to not let the grass grow under my feet very much when I was younger. And I actually, believe it or not, I actually started working for a stage hypnotist as an assistant on stage with him. We traveled throughout Canada, Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and down in through the States doing stage hypnosis shows. Eventually, we landed in the States. We opened our own club, and it unfortunately didn't work out. So my husband decided he was going to go back to Canada. I stayed in the States for a while. We were going to hook back up, but whoever said distance makes the heart grow fonder, they don't know what they were talking about. It certainly didn't work in this case. We ended up divorcing. So I started doing odd jobs. I mowed grass, I fixed fences, I did some painting. I even got my EMT license and started working on an ambulance. Those were really nowhere jobs. I wasn't doing much with it. And you know what? I was a pretty good hypnotist myself, so I decided to start doing shows myself. I was doing fairs and festivals, doing not too bad. I hooked up with a promoter and he said, you know, if you had a better promotion package, we'd be able to sell you a lot better. So I came back up to Canada to work with my brother for the summer to get some money together to be able to create a better promotion package. That's when I met this guy, my current husband. When I met him, my whole life took a completely different direction. He introduced me to the Ironman competitions. Amazing. I went and watched the first one and I couldn't imagine what these people were doing. I was so taken back by it. I thought, man, I'd love to run this race if I knew how to swim. Well, I said that year after year. And finally, in 1998, I decided, you know what, I could say this for the rest of my life, or I could step up to the plate, I could learn how to swim, and I could do one of these races too. So that's exactly what I did. The millennium, the year 2000, the year I turned 40, that's when I ran my very first race ever in my life, and it was an Ironman competition. Now, for those of you who don't know what an Ironman is, you swim 3.8 kilometers, you bike 180 kilometers, and you run 42.2 kilometers. Pretty big undertaking for somebody who never swam, had to learn how to swim, wasn't a runner, and hadn't been on a bike since they were 18 and I was 40. But I did it. I completed the race. In fact, shortly here, you'll see me crossing the finish line. Ironman gave me the opportunity to travel the world. I've been on every continent except Antarctica. And I've completed 27 races to date, including the Big Cone of Hawaii. My goal is to complete 30 Ironmans by the time I'm 60, so I'm on track to do that. I work at a diamond mine in Canada's Arctic. This job keeps me outside, I work with people, I work with animals, and I help to protect the environment. I work 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. You work 14 days in a row, 12 hours a day. It's great pay, but this job keeps me away from my family. When I'm home, I work at a jail in our community whose mandate is to reintegrate the people that are in there back into their home communities. So it's a rewarding job. I love both of these jobs, but they keep me away from my family, which is very important to me. My husband was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple of years ago. He managed quite well on his own. However, he now needs care 24/7, and I want to be there to help him out. Once again, I found myself prowling around on the internet looking for that home business that would afford me the financial and time freedom I was looking for. The business system I'm using has a done-for-you approach. It leverages other people's time and products, thus saving you time and money in the long run. The best part of it all is they provide a coach for you, and they're there for you every step of the way. Not like some of the other businesses that I tried previously that just left you hanging. They left you out there on your own, struggling, trying to figure out how to make it work. This system doesn't do that. I lost my mother to Alzheimer's, and the hardest thing about that was watching my mom forget who my dad was, and they were married for 63 years. Now I know the time is coming when my husband won't remember who I am either. This online business affords me the opportunity to be able to spend quality time with him while he still remembers who I am. I am now in control of my own destiny, meeting my financial obligations while having the freedom to decide where, how, and who I spend my time with. Your story may not be like mine, but if you have always dreamed of working when and where you wanted and gaining back your time and financial freedom, reach out to me directly so I can set up a time to chat. Talk to you soon.